Hey there, it's Mario here, and in this video I decided to cover the topic of how to help someone lose weight. How do we help someone who we see that they're struggling? Maybe it's our coworker, maybe a sibling, maybe someone who's really close to us, maybe another family member, and they seem to have issues with their diets, with their exercise plans, or with something, and we wish we could help them because we have the knowledge. Let's say you're watching this channel, you're watching these videos, and you know what the person should do to get the results, but you just don't know how to approach the situation. And I mean, first thing I want to acknowledge here that this is really hard, right? This is absolutely one of the hardest things in the world, influencing other people's behavior and making that positive change happen. It's probably one of the most difficult things, especially when we're dealing with people who are closest to us. Regardless of how much knowledge we have, the way we communicate that knowledge and the way we try to do this change might actually be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you approach it. So look at the research. I mean, one really great review from 2015, published in the Journal of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior from Brian Wansink and his group. They looked at what kind of messages people respond to in general when you try to change their behavior, right? So there were two types of messages that they basically reviewed 43 studies, and some types of messages were basically those don'ts, don't eat this, smoking kills, don't do that, this is making you fat, more that negative type of fear-based thing where you just write down, okay, this is bad for you. And that versus something where you would say more like, okay, these are the benefits of this thing, so you should do more of this. So they compared how people respond to that. And then what they've actually found is that people who are experts, people who are more knowledgeable in the field, people who have more knowledge, let's say with dieting, they would actually respond better to that negative style of like, okay, if you eat this, this is really bad for you. You shouldn't do that, don't do that. Versus people who are more, let's say, struggling, people who are really having a hard time with their diets, who are not very knowledgeable with nutrition, they will respond much better if you tell them what to do, as well as if you tell them more of that side of benefits. So more of that, leaning more toward that positive side and empowering people with knowledge versus trying to be more like bossy or aggressive about things or really pointing out the negative effects of certain things. So, I mean, this really opens our eyes. I mean, how can we approach the situation with our friends, with our family members, as well as often people make the mistake of trying to nag them into a change, like trying to boss them around, or even bossing in a way that, okay, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. Often doesn't work because the person can put up a shield, and once the person puts up a shield, it is really difficult to go by that. I mean, you can work on that for months and months and months, and then you might have some success, but it's better to actually try to not create that resistance in the first place and approach the whole situation from more of an aspect that you're generally curious to share what you're doing in your life and what are the benefits of that, so the person will be more intrigued to find out more about that. So if you're going to the gym, if you're living a healthy lifestyle, if you're sticking to your calories and your macros, these are certain things that we take for granted. We don't talk about this. So maybe we talk about it with our fit friends, but we generally don't think that our friends who are not in the quote-unquote fitness world are interested in this type of stuff, and we keep it to ourselves, while in reality we could be helping people if we share certain benefits, how this workout today made you feel great, how you get more energy, how that certain meal made you feel awesome, how you got your protein today, how you feel great that you figured out some cool recipe that is really, really healthy and tastes awesome and it's low calorie and it's all great, right? And we don't share this with people who we haven't labeled as being in the same healthy camp as we are. And that's a big mistake, at least from my perspective as well. And this is something I'm working on, is sharing more of my personal experience with health behaviors with people who are struggling with these things, so I can indirectly help them, or at least open their minds to receiving the knowledge. And then often what will happen is they will approach you and ask you questions, and then when they're asking you questions, you actually have a chance to express yourself, and then in that position you are much more likely to get a certain response where if you tell people, well, these are the benefits, this is what you need to do, they will actually listen to you. So that is the approach. I mean, it is not easy, definitely takes a lot of time. You have to build a lot of that social capital. You have to work on this. This is something that requires a tremendous amount of patience, but if you have goodwill, if you're willing to help people, and if you're really approaching it from an honest way where you're not soliciting some kind of MLM scheme or selling them kind of supplements or whatever, if you really approach it from an honest, genuine perspective and you share with with them what you love to do and how it benefits you, I think you can make a change. And it's kind of our responsibility, if we have the knowledge, if we know what to do, it is a little bit of our responsibility to at least try to influence people around us. And that's at least what I think. I mean, you might agree or disagree, but that's your personal preference there. So let me know in the comments below how this resonates with you, if you find this helpful. In general, do you feel like it's really hard to change people around you? Have you ever tried? Have you ever failed in a way that it's like backfired? I'm curious. So let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys a little bit about this, because this is a huge topic for me, and it causes me sometimes a lot of pain when I see people making a lot of ridiculous things in their lives that leads to failure when I know I can help them. So let me know in the comments. Aside from that, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Aside from that, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.